Chinese soldiers preparing for battle. This is the image Beijing wants to show the world. With each military drill, China draws ever closer circles around Taiwan, signaling its clear and unwavering goal to gain control of the island. Chinese leaders repeat the promise. China will surely be reunified in Washington. The United States has made its stance equally clear, with President Biden affirming when asked if America would defend Taiwan militarily, "Yes, that's the commitment we made." These words reflect not just diplomatic positioning, but a long-standing tension that has shaped East Asian geopolitics for decades. The U.S. is building up its military presence in the region, conducting exercises to sink Chinese ships, while Beijing escalates its pressure, practicing encirclement drills around Taiwan. Both sides insist they want peace, yet both prepare for conflict. The question that echoes globally is why these two superpowers are so fixated on Taiwan, and what exactly is at stake for China, for the United States, and for the people who actually live on the island. Taiwan's location makes it one of the most geopolitically sensitive points on the planet. This land of 23 million people lies just 130 kilometers from the Chinese mainland, its proximity symbolized by the small offshore islands under Taiwanese control that sit almost within swimming distance of China's coast. Recent Chinese military drills surrounding the island have grown larger and more frequent, as Beijing demonstrates readiness to use force if needed to take what it considers a rightful part of its territory. The roots of this claim date back to the late 1940s, when civil war in China ended with a communist victory on the mainland and the retreat of the defeated nationalist government to Taiwan. That unresolved split laid the foundation for the tensions that endure today. The United States has maintained what it calls a deliberately ambiguous policy toward Taiwan since the 1970s. Washington officially recognizes Communist Beijing as the sole legitimate government of China, yet it also sustains informal ties with Taipei, provides defensive weapons, and is perceived by much of the world as Taiwan's protector. This ambiguity is meant to prevent Beijing from invading, while also discouraging Taiwan from declaring independence outright. But ambiguity has not reduced the island's centrality in global strategy. Because Taiwan's geography places it at the crossroads of East Asia's most vital to the west lies the Taiwan Strait, a crucial shipping lane through which much of the world's container traffic flows. To the north, the Miyako Strait separates Taiwan from Japanese islands, and to the south, the Bashi Strait lies between Taiwan and the Philippines. For China, these straits represent gateways to the Pacific Ocean. Control of Taiwan would give Beijing direct access to deeper waters and break the chain of obstacles that currently constrain its navy. As Victor Gao, a Chinese diplomat turned think tank leader, explains, Taiwan is central to China's strategic continuity. If occupied by a foreign power, it disrupts the Chinese coastline and blocks access to the Pacific. For the United States, Taiwan plays a mirror role in its Indo-Pacific defense strategy. China has naval bases lining its coast, but the U.S. counters with bases in South Korea, Japan, and the Philippines, forming a line of allied outposts, known in Washington as the First Island Chain. Taiwan sits at the heart of this chain. David Sachs of the Council on Foreign Relations explains that this network of allies allows the U.S. to project power close to China's shores, deter Chinese expansion, and safeguard American allies. Conversely, the First Island Chain makes it difficult for China to project military power outward. To strengthen this arc of containment, Washington has expanded cooperation with Japan and the Philippines, securing access to new bases such as those in northern Luzon. Just beside the Bashi Strait, joint U.S. Philippine exercises have even staged symbolic attacks on old Chinese-built ships, a clear signal to Beijing. Unsurprisingly, China denounces this island chain strategy as outdated and imperialist, yet Beijing is responding not just with rhetoric, but with hardware, modernizing its navy at breakneck speed. Its third and most advanced aircraft carrier, the Fujian, symbolizes a new capacity to challenge U.S. dominance. Its central mission is what strategists call anti-axis area denial, the ability to keep American forces out of the region in the event of conflict. Beyond strategy, Taiwan carries enormous economic weight. Despite its small size, The island is home to the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which produces 90% of the world's most advanced microchips. These semiconductors power everything from smartphones and refrigerators to fighter jets and artificial intelligence. Both the US and China depend heavily on them. The device you are watching this video on almost certainly contains Taiwanese technology. American leaders fear that if Taiwan falls under Beijing's control, China could reorder the economic balance of the world, dominating high-tech supply chains and reducing the United States and other industrialized economies to mere suppliers of raw materials. Chinese officials counter that their interest in Taiwan is not commercial but historical and ideological. Still, the economic stakes are massive for both sides. To understand Beijing's determination, we must return to history. During the so-called century of humiliation, from the mid-19th to the mid-20th century, China suffered repeated invasions, unequal treaties, and territorial losses. Taiwan was ceded to Japan in 1895, becoming a colony until the end of World War II, when it was returned to China. But by then, China was engulfed in civil war, and when Mao Zedong's communists triumphed in 1949, the nationalist government under Chiang Kai-shek retreated to Taiwan. Thus emerged two rival governments, each claiming to be China: the People's Republic of China, PRC, on the mainland, and the Republic of China, ROC, in Taiwan. Although Beijing has never ruled Taiwan, it insists the island is a breakaway province. And most countries, including the US, accept the One China policy, refraining from recognizing Taiwan as a sovereign nation. Yet America's support continues, rooted in Cold War alliances and a desire to protect democracy. Taiwan itself has undergone dramatic political transformation. Once an authoritarian regime under the nationalists, it has evolved into one of Asia's most vibrant democracies, with free elections, a lively press, and robust civil liberties. It became the first Asian nation to legalize same-sex marriage. In 2024, a progressive party won its third consecutive term, vowing to preserve the fragile status quo. Life on the island reflects resilience. As DW's Taiwan correspondent, Yakan Lee, notes, tension has become a daily reality, woven into normal existence. Most Taiwanese prefer to maintain the current balance rather than provoke Beijing by declaring independence, yet opinions are polarized. Some trust the US and Japan as allies, others remain skeptical of American intentions, but see no alternative. Many simply want peace with both giants. Yet amid the power struggle, Taiwan's own voice often goes unheard. Its 23 million people reduced to a pawn in a larger geopolitical game. Still, Taiwan represents more than territory. For China, reunification is tied to national identity and Xi Jinping's vision of national rejuvenation. The loss of Taiwan is viewed as an unfinished wound from the century of humiliation, and regaining it is framed as the fulfillment of historical justice. Xi positions himself as a transformative leader, akin to Putin in Russia, portraying reunification as inevitable whether peacefully or not. He warns Washington, "Don't play with fire." For the United States, however, supporting Taiwan is about defending democracy and credibility. If China annexed Taiwan, America's allies in Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines might doubt Washington's reliability, and authoritarian regimes worldwide could be emboldened. Thus, Taiwan's fate is not only about geography or semiconductors, but about the ideological contests between democracy and authoritarianism. This clash of visions ensures that neither side can easily back down. China sees Taiwan as part of its very identity, while the US sees its defense as central to global credibility. For Taiwan's people, the challenge is living under the constant shadow of this rivalry, with their future tied to forces beyond their control. Taiwan sits at the intersection of history, economics, and ideology, a small island carrying immense global weight. For China, it is unfinished business and proof of national strength. For the United States, it is a test of power, principle, and alliance. For the world, it is the flashpoint that could define the 21st century.